everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the IIMN Talk Show, your one-step destination to insights you can't find in any textbooks. Today, we welcome an ex-XLRI with more than 25 years of experience in sales, marketing, and retail, and also a visiting professor here at IIM Nagpur, Professor Sunil Chandran.
Thank you so much.
How do you think that the traditional brick and mortar stores can be integrated with the digital channels now that we still see them as two separate entities? How do you think that we can integrate them in this era?
So it's a long journey. So initially in India, at least the earlier brick and mortar retailers kept thinking that probably online will not be big in India, and therefore they refused to even evaluate opening up small things like opening up your website or enabling online sales. So they kept thinking, we'll wait and watch what happens, because the thinking in India was that online is a cash burn business. It continues to be so even after a decade and a half, but online has come here to stay. So as far as customers are concerned, they are actually the same, whether it's an offline store or online store. You tend to switch depending on your needs itself. So we have a situation today where at least most of the larger retailers have enabled their so-called online inventory itself from a purely multi-brand retail store perspective. But there are very many brands who have their exclusive store presence. And for many of them, online or a marketplace continues to be a place where they sell probably discounted products, because in India, customers still associate online with low prices or discounted prices. So the market is slowly settling down. Just when we thought that everything is going fine, you now hear of quick commerce coming in, not only in India, but many parts of the world. So the question that you had asked was, how do you integrate both offline and online? So the world started, and so did India. They're looking at online as another channel. So you will find a Shoppers Stop, who's a multi-brand retailer, or Titan, who's a brand retailer, also have their online presence. They also sell probably as a brand in multiple marketplaces too. But clearly they've started looking at online as a channel. So in classical retail terminology, we call it a multi-channel approach, which means that online becomes one more channel through which you sell. The next stage happens when we call it what is called Omnichannel. And Omnichannel technically means that the experience in online and offline needs to be similar. Now that's a tough ask because of the fact that we tend to view both experiences very differently. We presume, and also rightfully so, look at experience in a physical store as being very, very different from a 2x2 dimensional screen that we would have. But the online channel comes with a lot of benefits, and one of which is, of course, the convenience of being able to, you don't have to worry about a store closing. You don't have to worry about where I am. So sitting in Nagpur, I need fruits in Bangalore tomorrow morning. I've already finished ordering for the same today. So that's a convenience, and obviously the convenience also comes with a certain price. There's a cost to delivering your products home. So world is trying to, and India to that extent also trying to see how to integrate both, because I'm a customer who buys fruits in a physical store when I'm in Bangalore, orders for it possibly ahead of time when I'm traveling back into Bangalore, and realize that when I reach home tomorrow and I keep a pan to boil milk to make tea, realize there is no tea at home because I've not been at home for a week, and then probably also just get it through a quick commerce site, be it a Zepto or a Swiggy, who will deliver it probably within less than 20 minutes. So from a customer's point of view, it's a great time to be in India, because you're getting a lot of these convenience at probably no price penalty, which means we are actually not paying a higher price. So a lot of these brands and channels are trying to capture a share of their household income itself. And therefore, you don't see differences in price across. And in many categories, we assume online should be cheaper. So clearly, a channel which is expensive is actually cheaper to some extent, or holding a price parity, and therefore customer adoption is high. Going forward, probably we all will have to be ready to pay for the convenience of getting goods home, probably within 15 minutes, 20 minutes and things like that. But I still think it's still a little time away, because everybody is still chasing shares probably, and volumes and ticket size and so on and so forth. So the world, both in communication and in shopping, will move from omni, where everybody is trying to create a similar experience, into an integration of possibly all possible channels, where You will see technology coming into the store, technology getting into probably communication models. So you will find that both gets integrated when a customer probably walks into a store or a customer walks into a website. Yeah? So Kotler in his Marketing 6.0 speaks about meta channel or meta marketing itself as moving away from omni.
I remember, I think in class also you asked us to
Yes.
Sort of understand or imagine how would we have digital interfaces for an online or for an offline retail store. So I think that is something that we should really look into. What are some of the key challenges in inventory management, especially when we are talking about large inventory, large retail chains, and how does one overcome them?
So that's going to be a big challenge because theory says that when you hold inventory in one location from a fulfillment center and you serve a large customer base, you are far more inventory efficient because you're holding inventory in one place. So the challenge for many large chain retailers and possibly even retailers with larger footprint in terms of store sizes, it becomes an issue in the center. On one side, you would want to customize your offering to customers within a catchment. So even though I may have probably 10 stores in a city like Bangalore or Nagpur, I would ideally want to keep merchandise suited to those specific catchment needs. So that's one part of the story. And then you have a centralized warehouse where an online player possibly could be a little more efficient in the sense that while everybody likes to have zero stockouts, we all understand that probably forecasting or probably supplier deliveries or logistics or lead time and all of this could cause a certain stockout in a multiple store location. So you may have a few stores having some inventory and some not having. Whereas an online retailer, by virtue of the fact that he probably serves a similar catchment as these 10 stores from one location, tends to be far more efficient. But nevertheless, what we see in many countries in the world is you allow a customer who comes into one store of yours access to the online inventory that you have. So probably we are moving a little closer into what is called the classical online omnichannel play, where I not only allow a customer to check what's physically there in my store, but also help a customer evaluate if possibly is this product available in some other store in this city, or is it actually available in some other city. So if I'm in Nagpur and I find that this specific shirt for my size is available in Mumbai, how does that retailer, which could be a Shoppers Stop or it could be an exclusive brand outlet like a Louis Philippe or Van Heusen, how do they help you get it in Nagpur at the shortest possible time, possibly with no price penalty? Yeah? So that's what a customer would expect. And therefore, the whole challenge of the long tail. So theory says that online has a very long tail because you can keep unlimited inventory. So Amazon is known as basically a store which doesn't have an island at all because you can keep exploring. But the challenge for a customer is the fact that he probably doesn't discover what is there in a long tail or a long aisle. So if I'm not sure about what I'm looking for, then online doesn't help me much. But if I'm sure that I'm looking for a particular title of a book, then probably online is great because they can carry a lot of titles, whereas a physical store is unlikely to carry so many titles itself. So inventory management perspective, online in theory looks more efficient, but from my perspective, I would actually say that brands and retailers who integrate their physical store inventory allows a customer to open up his online inventory may probably be the best way to go forward from a holistic view on inventory management itself.
Right. What do you think are the future trends in retail that future aspirants like us who want to get into the retail space, or even to all those who are moving to looking to switch from their industries to the retail industry? What do you think?
So the fact that retail is something that gets into you, in the sense that if you start working in a retail business, you kind of get addicted to it because there are so many small things that you can play with. Like I keep saying, if you run a chain of 1,000 stores, I can probably run 1,000 research experiments every week in all these stores. Yeah. So for students of marketing who have a very curious mindset, probably retail is a playground where you can exhaust yourself for maybe decades to come. Yeah. So probably retail from that point of view is a very interesting business to look into. So there is two sides to the story of retail. One is retail from a multi-brand store perspective, where retail is your core business. Yeah. So probably retailers like the Max or lifestyle or shopper stop. So retail is their business. Then there are brand retail businesses like Titan, where I worked for a very long time, where retail becomes another channel to your brand play. And there are multiple ways of leveraging this channel. Early days, many multi-brand outlets in the trade would not carry the complete range of Titan. So if as a brand owner, I had to showcase my range, I had to create my own retail presence. That's how Titan showrooms came into being. And the moment it did that, you create a larger space, you display your complete range, you provide better service, it's a good looking store, and so on and so forth, that the trade automatically starts upgrading. So there is a play with respect to an exclusive brand opening a showroom to showcase its range and service standards, suddenly helping improve the standard of retailing across all channels itself. So that's one from a brand play. Yeah. So today, if you're a brand, one, you need to know how to engage with multi-brand retailers in your category. Probably you'll have to also start looking at creating an exclusive brand retail chain. Yeah? Early days of watch industry in India, we kept debating the fact that would a customer want to walk into an exclusive Titan watch showroom, or would they be happy walking into a multi-brand showroom? And all of us kept thinking that multi-brand will win any day, because as a customer, you would want to choose across multiple brands, multiple price points, and so on and so forth. But Titan showrooms are still expanding, probably even after 20, 25 years since they've actually been launched. So customers probably see a differentiation and a value in going to an exclusive Titan showroom. Similar thinking with a lot of fashion brands. We have Louis Philippe, Van Heusen, Peter England, Arrow. And if you look at footwear, you've got Skechers, you've got Nike. All of them sell through multi-brand channels, but also create their own strong brand presence through exclusive outlets. Yeah. So if I am a marketing person, a student of marketing, working with a brand, I think I can't move away from retail. Either partially or fully, I'm engaged with retail in some manner, either through my own exclusive outlets or engaging with multi-brand retail outlets. As retail evolves over time, more and more sales are going to happen through these so-called exclusive channels, possibly itself. Yeah. And therefore, I would say that ideal situation would be to work for a brand which also has a retail presence, so you get to see both sides of the coin. And I was lucky enough to have worked with a brand like Titan for a long time.
That's really nice. I think we should all look forward to associating ourselves with such brands, at least in the near future.
So, very true.
So you worked in so many varied sectors, from fashion to food to entertainment. How do you think that the retail management strategies differ across these industries, and what are the core principles that have remained the same across these industries?
So fundamentals don't change in the sense that end of the day, there's a customer need, and therefore what we call the shopping need for a customer, if you would use retail parlance. So they come to a store or they come online to check for something, want to buy something, yeah. And therefore those basics of wanting to buy something, satisfying the needs, how do you engage with him or her, goes without saying, remains the same. But what's happening world over is the fact that customer expectations are changing, yeah? And competition is of course changing quite a bit. So retail is a business where you're not in control of both of these. So what you need to do as a student of marketing, when you look at it from a retail perspective, is to be able to track what customer needs are, what customer expectations are, how are they changing with respect to their engagement with you as a brand, and how do you ensure that you're a step ahead probably of what your competition is trying to do, because both of this can impact your revenue and therefore your payback itself. So retail is a business where many brands which thought that they were doing well, you find they don't exist after some time, possibly because of either customers' expectation changing or competition providing better value for what they are trying to shop itself. Yeah. While dynamics of this is true from a brand perspective too, in retail, I guess it's a little more challenging because of what competition can do to you apart from what customer expectations can. Change direction mid-course, so to say. Yeah. So you may be doing extremely well now, but suddenly you start finding that you're stagnating in some geographies. Probably that's a time for you to start worrying that somebody is doing something better, or your customers there itself don't see value in what you're trying to do, and therefore you would need to change.
For all our viewers, and for all the students of IIM Nagpur as well. What advice would you give to professionals and all the future?
Read as much as you can when you're on campus, yeah, and open your mind. End of the day, it's a very simple business. So, like I say, in retail, you just buy and you sell, yeah. So the artist is trying to provide a value add without a price penalty to a customer, yeah. So customers are always loyal to brands. They probably may not be loyal to retailers, yeah. Therefore, what all of us need to do is to keep looking at what customer is doing, what are they expecting, and then be in a position to be able to provide what they need and have an open mind, because I may not be the way a customer would probably think, yeah. And therefore, I may be wrong in what I'm saying, and I'm also wrong many a time. Idea is to kind of try it out and see. So if I think that doing something will find favor with the customer, do it and see if it works. I mean, that's the only way that we can be sure that what we're doing is right.
So I think to sum it up, retail is such a business that we can try and experiment and understand how consumers react to certain situations. And I think that will keep changing as time comes,
True.
especially with the onset of quick commerce and e-commerce.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for such an insightful
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope I've been able to add some value to your thinking itself.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, audience and everybody. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day today.